All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. How was lunch? Good. All right, we'll do a good job on lunch. So for those of you, thank you, Ricky, who were here last year when we did this down the road, I don't know if you recognize this guy, but he was actually there as well. It was my first time meeting Freddie. Found out Freddie's in marketing, and I'm like, man, so are we. Would like to talk to him more. We've developed a great relationship to just kind of discuss ideas, bounce things off of one another, talk about business, and all that good stuff. And Freddie, as I've watched him in the last 12 months, him and his business have grown exponentially. I'm super proud of all the networking relationships that he's created. Some of the speakers that are here tomorrow are actually here, clients of Freddie's and people that I've met through this networking opportunity. So without further ado, I'll let him take over, and he's going to talk to us a lot about content creation. Cool.
Awesome. Sounds good. How's everybody doing today? So things to remember in marketing. One thing that I think is super important is lifetime value. Okay, so raise your hand if you are an event rentals business. Okay, so I love talking to Dustin and Michael about this. When it comes to lifetime value, I think it's one of the most underestimated metrics in all of marketing for all types of businesses. So if I own an event rentals company, and let's say I pay $800 to acquire a new client. I don't know if that's high or low, but I'm just using the number. And then I get a new client who buys $800 worth of rentals for an event. Now the standard person would say, well, you broke even on your investment. But I'm here to tell you is if you do a great job as a business and you rent out to a customer whose kid is having a third birthday, guess what comes 365 days later? Their fourth birthday and their fifth birthday. And as those birthday parties get bigger, more people are going to want to know about your business. So I always tell people, understand lifetime value when it comes to marketing, because nobody is in here just to get cash and run out of the door. People are here to build long, sustainable businesses. The next thing I would tell you is marketing is an investment. People can't afford not to know who you are. I put this out on social media the other day. When people say I don't have the ability to afford marketing, I tell people everybody has two things in this world, time or money. You have to use one of them to make your message known, because if you don't do either, you'll lose both in the process. The next thing I would tell you is pay a premium or self-create. I think what happens a lot of times in marketing, when I say pay a premium, I don't mean pay the absolute most, but make sure you're investing money with somebody who knows what they're doing. Dustin and Michael do a great job. If I had an entertainment business, I would love to work with them from an SEO, Google Ads perspective. Why? Because when you pay the premium and when you spend the money, it holds the other people accountable. If you can't do that, I would tell you to learn to self-create. I think what happens again in business a lot is people try to find their 18-year-old cousin or this person online who feels like they know social media. They pay $1,000 a month, and then they're upset both with the result they got and the fact that they're spending money. I look at it like your uncle's mechanic shop, right? If your catalytic converter goes out on your car, right? Why do you go to your... Oh, did somebody...
It's stolen.
Oh, yeah. But in order...
Just had this conversation.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah.
In order to figure that out, though, you need to pay somebody who knows what they're doing, or you need to do the research yourself. If you try to pay somebody who doesn't know what they're doing $25 to figure out that problem for you, you're not only going to get frustrated because they didn't figure out the problem, you're going to get frustrated because you spent money with them as well. So think about that when it comes to marketing as well. And the last one of the things to remember is content is king, right? I look at content almost as a baseball guy as getting your customer on second base. I think when it comes to meeting new clients in any industry you're in, it's if you spend a lot of time trying to tell the client what you do and the problems you solve, you're going to spend a lot of time in that meeting, and that meeting may go well, that meeting may go bad. But if they see your content, they already know what you do, and they know the problems you solve, well, all of a sudden now when you get into that meeting with them, all you have to do is have a linear focus of the services that specifically can help them. And the more you create, the more you separate. In any industry, the people that I can name right now who are at the top of their industry create content. And you know them because they're all over social media, they're all over Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is, you know them and they've separated themselves. So I would tell you, the more you create, the more you separate. Now, this is something, when it comes to marketing as a whole, I always try to use for all my clients. I'm a man of faith, and in the Bible, Paul, who was a man who preached all over, says he became all things to all people with hopes that he would influence some. And I think that's been the foundation of how I look at the marketing period. The marketing pyramid. I'm sorry, I got fake teeth. I struggle with these words sometimes. But the message is something that should be linear. It should be focused. It shouldn't change just because somebody who's outside of your focus wants your service. If you believe that this is what you need to be doing with your life from a business perspective, keep your focus linear at all times. So what I told you before is I help marketing executives and entrepreneurs with marketing and content creation. Okay? If somebody comes up to me and is not an executive or an entrepreneur, what I will do is I will connect them with the person specifically who will work best for them. So when it comes to your message, you really have to focus and keep it linear at all time. Now, the mode is a little bit different. It's how you say your message, right? Video, as we'll talk about as well, is extremely important. But some people feel more comfortable writing out blog posts. Some people feel more comfortable by just taking a picture and doing a long form caption. Your message doesn't change, but you have to have multiple modes in which you tell that message. And then the last one is medium. Okay, the reason why the medium is the biggest tier on the pyramid is because this is when you really have to get diversified. So if I'm somebody who likes video, I have a specific message and my mode is video. Okay, I use those videos on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Okay, if I have a message and my mode is writing, I use it on LinkedIn, blog post, Nextdoor, Facebook, whatever it is. And so this is a great way to really figure out the best way to utilize marketing for your business. Your message is very focused. Your mode, you have multiple forms. And then the medium in which you tell that message gets as broad and as wide as possible. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about some types of content that you can create that's relatively easy to create for any entrepreneur. The first one is short form video. Okay, in 2023, you see these short form videos all the time on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, all this stuff. Like short form video is the way to go in 2023. Okay, now when it comes to things that you say in the video, I think that that's where a lot of people oftentimes face a hurdle. They're like, I want to do video, I just don't know what to say. So 3 things that you can write down that help anybody are FAQs, expertise, and myths in your industry. FAQs, like I say, help your client get on second base. If I am an attorney and somebody wants to know my onboarding process, and I have a video that talks about my onboarding process, guess what you don't have to call me about when you go to my website? The onboarding process. Now you can figure out more about me, what problems I can solve for you, and what services you provide. Expertise. Show how you're different in other industries, right? A lot of industries have a lot of companies, but there are things that separate you from your industry, and there are things that you know that other people in your industry don't know, right? For example, I know somebody who's in the market for a house right now. A lot of people don't know it's something that's trending now, but you can get a 40-year mortgage if it's a primary resident. Do I have real estate agents? Is that something that's trending or growing, or I've heard it the 40-year mortgage for the primary residence? It's something that's growing, right? And so if you're the real estate agent who talks about that on a real short form video, all of a sudden you may have first-time home buyers who look at your video and say, wait a second, I didn't know that. Tell me more. And now that gets you on second base. They know you're a realtor. They know you know something that separates you from the industry, and now they want to work with you. And then the last one is myths in your industry, right? There's a lot of myths in industries. For example, I've had people who come up to me who say, hey, Freddie, I want to have a 7-figure business. I ran Facebook ads and they didn't work. And my first question to them is, how much money did you spend on Facebook ads? And their response is $100. Well, last time I checked, I don't know anywhere in the world that you can invest $100 and get $1 million back. If anybody knows, please send me an email. My contact info will be up there. I'd love to know. But myths in your industry is super important as well because it creates a level of personable relationships and authenticity in whatever you're doing. If you debunk the myths and then all of a sudden people see that you're debunking the myths in your industry, and then all of a sudden every other advertisement in that industry is that myth, well, what does that allow you to do? Now you've looked at this company and said, they've been honest, they've been real, they've been authentic. And so when it comes to these short form videos, you'll see people put the words on them, and people always ask, well, how do I do that? And so 2 ways that you can do it. One is a website called subtitle.com. It's spelled subtitle with a Z, and it's relatively cheap. For 20 videos under a minute, it's $9 a month. So it allows you to put those subtitles on your videos for Instagram, TikTok, Facebook Reels, all of that stuff. And then the second thing I would tell you to do is outsource using Fiverr or Upwork. You can find some great editors on there. They'll charge you anywhere from $10, $25 at a premium $30 a video, and it can save you time on the back end as well. And so what I want to do is I want to show you some examples of these short form videos. The first one I'll do is the one on the right. This is my client who's a real estate investor, and right now everybody hears that there's a real estate crash going on. So I told him, I said, give me your expertise and your thought process on this entire thing. And so this was his response. Okay.
Whether a real estate crash is coming is somewhat subjective depending on where you have invested, what type of asset class you've invested in, and what's your current economic situation. So let me tell you what I mean by that. We purchased a hotel in the Midwest for $5,000 a door. So let's say we got a small hotel for $130,000. The likelihood of our valuation on that property going much lower is not going to be high because we already bought it at the bottom of the market even during inflationary times. But there could be individuals out there who bought at the top of the market, and maybe they bought a $12 million mansion in Malibu, and that market might soften. You might see a reduction in pricing of close to 40%. So there will be a crash, but it's all dependent on where you've been investing during the inflationary aspect of this market. If you're investing on the very high end, you'll probably see some softening. If you've been consistently investing on the more lower end or budget priced end, you're probably not going to see too much of a dip. You actually might even see an increase in terms of cash flow, maybe not valuation, because during recessionary times, individuals will need more affordable type of accommodation. And so for those individuals who have been acquiring those type of assets over the last few years, you're probably going to do fairly well. So will there be a crash? Potentially, but it all depends in the details.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you were a real estate investor and saw that video, would it make you want to contact that person, or would you share it with the people in your close circle? That's what content creation is about. It's about being able to answer, when I talk about expertise, being able to separate yourself and put your information out there. A second example I'll give you is a custom car shop that we work with.
One question we get asked here at Colorworks by Duff is, who are we? What do? We do custom fabrication, bodywork, paintwork, interior, full car builds, and mechanical. We take pride with each custom car build and project that we take on here at Colorworks by Duff. Each team member here is so passionate about what we do. Our ultimate goal is to bring the client's vision into fruition.
That's another example. Let people know who you are. Let people know your expertise. The one thing I learned about that specific client is they don't do custom car wraps. So now, if somebody was looking for a custom car wrap, instead of trying to set up a meeting with them and then going to their place and then asking them if they do it, and then you're looking at your watch like, man, I just wasted half a day. Now that you know that they don't do custom car wraps, you can go to the next thing. But now that you know that they do custom car builds, if you want a custom car build, you can call them and talk to them. And so I've got other ones when it comes to misconceptions in roofing, or if carbohydrates are bad. Those are just examples of expertise in your field and separating yourself. Another example is testimonials. By far, the most important form of marketing is word of mouth. Okay, I can tell you all day that some product will make you lose weight, but if you see somebody walk in who's actually lost weight and use that product, you will believe in the product. And so testimonials are authentic. They're from real customers, right? We see them all the time whenever we're in the marketing world. Utilize your Google reviews, okay? Google reviews are super important because they can't be, for the most part, tampered with. And so what you can do is there are different forms of ways you can repurpose your Google reviews. There's apps called Canva. There's apps called Mojo. And what you can do is you can take that text, you can put them in these apps, And these apps are relatively cheap. They're like $10 a month, $5 a month. You can put them in these apps, create reviews, and then that way from there, you are able to take your testimonials of people's great experiences and put them on social media. The great thing about Google reviews is, for the most part, if you leave your full name, somebody can search the name and then go talk to that person as well. But again, testimonials are a great word of mouth marketing form. And one way I tell people to get testimonials is to use the gift card method. If you have an event rentals business and you get 20 $10 gift cards, at the end of the event, when everybody's jumping in the back and everybody's having a great time, you pull the customer aside and you say, hey, thank you so much for your service. We're actually doing something where we give you a gift card in return of a video. And it's really simple. All you got to do is have it behind you, talk about the experience you had, send it to us, you get a gift card. Now you're starting to get user-generated content, authentic testimonials for $10 to $15 a piece. And I'm telling you, that will go a long way from a marketing perspective and from a user-generated content perspective. So this is kind of what I was talking about. Google reviews in the form of graphics, and then the one on the right is in the form of a Mojo video. You put the text in there, and now you can use that on Instagram Reels, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and all of that. And that person can go online, see that authentic review after seeing it on your social media, and know that you guys are legit. Okay, another content form is highlight recap videos. These are the videos that you often see when it comes to social media. People spend a lot of money and they only post these, right? These are supplemental to the content that you put out and that you create. So these videos are a minute, minute and a half long, and these videos really get the content out there. They show the highlights, the behind the scenes of your business, but it's supplemental. I tell people you have to do these, but not as frequently as you have to do the micro stuff. People want to see these, they want to see your brand, they want to see who you are, but they want to go deeper and more depth with the micro stuff. When it comes to these highlight recap videos, I would tell you, pay a premium. And like I said before, that's not the most, but pay a company to come in and take care of that, because you can hold them accountable, you can tell them what you want, and you can make sure the job gets done. Quick example of these.
What's up, guys? Andy with Colorworks by Duff here. Come check out a day in the shop.
So that's an example, right? Highlighting what's going on in our business, highlighting who the people are. When you see people sanding your car, you'll get to learn, okay, this person is the person sanding my car. This person is the person painting my car. Like, these every once in a while keep the brand fresh and keep people knowing about who you are. Quotes. Quotes is a relatively simple one. It's curated content. For example, a guy who I like to quote all the time as a former football player is Ray Lewis. So what I'll do is I'll see cool Ray Lewis quotes. I'll put them into branded graphics with my personal brand or my marketing company, and I'll put them on a Canva graphic. I'll download it. I'll put it into Instagram. I'll put it into Facebook. And now I'm able to connect with somebody else who I like to emulate after, but I don't have to necessarily spend time making those quotes. I can follow somebody who's already made them. So branded accordingly. You can utilize Canva or Mojo for this as well. And it's curated, so you don't necessarily have to create the quote. You can find somebody who's similar in your industry for that. So here's an example. The one on the right is one I really like. Ali, who's a real estate investor, likes Jim Rohn. So successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. He believes in that. We got the quote, we branded it, we put it on social. You put the two together, you understand what type of firm they're running. Twitter screenshots and graphics. These are a great way to repurpose Twitter content for other platforms. People like written word. This would be great for you. You can transform these on Canva or an app called Pic Collage. Pic Collage is free. This is an example of two. The one on the right, I literally screenshotted and I put onto Pic Collage. The one on the left, I created on Canva. Now you have the ability to post on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You can put it in a song behind it and put it on TikTok, whatever it is. Photos, it's relatively simple. Great for Facebook, okay for Instagram. When it comes to photos, because the demographic on Facebook is a little bit older, if you write a great story, if the copy is great with the photo, it oftentimes converts for people to engage and share and invest in photography. It's the same thing like videos, where it's like you want to have great pictures of what you're doing. You're putting a lot of time and effort owning a business, being an entrepreneur, so make sure that you invest in that because it's something that you feel the world deserves. So example of some photos when we do community events, workouts with people, we'll write out nice long form copy to kind of tell the story. Memes are great for all platforms. They're a great way to increase engagement. Again, the cool thing about memes is that they're curated. An app that can help you with this is called Meme-matic. So it's MEMATIC. And this will help you curate that content, increase engagement because it's videos and clips that people already know, or it's funny things that you wouldn't expect from that company. So this one right here, Todd Price, I work with his roofing company as well. So this one says when an insurance adjuster tells you that you are not a roofing expert, that you're just an expert on the policy. Raise your hand if you know this clip before I even click play. Where is it from?
State Farm denied a claim for homeowner.
Right, so we're relating State Farm, and then what I did is I took the clip from Billy Madison, and then...
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
So the thing about that is people know that clip, right? They know the picture, they remember that scene, and now you're wondering, well, why did Perimeter Roofing put that? And now it goes back to the State Farm claim. So that's what it's about. Memes are a funny way to get people to engage and to bring back those memories. So this is something I call a content grid that will help any business on how to develop content. And I'll have copies of this for you guys as well. Basically what you do is write your name and write what you do. Okay, then from there, think about 5 topics to talk about in your industry. And then once you think about those 5 topics, think about 5 ways to display those topics in the form of content. So I'm gonna use my dog in the back again. If I was a real estate agent, right, one topic I may talk about is the financing process. So then my idea 1 would be a meme about it. 2 would be short form video. 3 would be a picture. 4 would be a Twitter graphic. 5 would be a quote graphic. Now from one topic, I got 5 pieces of content. So if you do 5 topics and 5 pieces of content and you invest 2 to 3 hours planning this out per month, you now have enough content for the month and you can schedule it and you can set it up to make it happen continuously versus having to spend hours upon hours, day in and day out, week in and week out trying to develop content. So I have copies for this as well for you guys, but this has always helped me be able to plan out content for the month and kind of plan ahead. That way I can focus on my business. That's the thing I understood when it came to building my company, is that you guys as entrepreneurs want to focus on your business, and I want you guys to focus on it too. So the content creation process, even though it has a big reward, shouldn't be where all of your time is spent.
Could you know what were the suggested ideas that you had for those?
So like right here?
Yeah, I did the top of them.
So for example, idea 1 could be a meme. Idea 2 could be a short form video. Idea 3 could be a picture. Idea 4 could be a Twitter graphic. And then idea 5 could be a quote. Good. Yeah, no problem. And then this is the last thing I want to leave you guys with. Strength and growth only comes from continuous effort and struggle. Guys, when I started creating content for myself back whenever my NFL dreams got crushed, like I used to have to deal with, I would post a video, I would see my face, and I would delete it. And then I would post it again, I'd see my face again, and I'd delete it. Then I would post it, see a funny comment, and I would delete it. And it got to the point where it became tough to put out content, especially day in and day out. But like I told you before, if you find the value in it, if you find value in what you do as a business, if you feel like you solve a problem, think about that when you put out content. Don't worry about what anybody's going to say, because you're going to have people who are going to criticize your content. You're going to have people who, as soon as you put stuff out, they're going to come back and they're going to tell you, you should have done this, you should have done that. They're going to tell you that you don't need to do that. To this day, I still get people that say, why do you DM people? Why do you post content on social media? I'm like, guys, when I prayed that day in 2018 to become the best version of myself, creating content is something that changed the framework of my life. And I apply it to everything in my life when it comes to strength and growth. It requires continuous effort and struggle. You only grow when you get uncomfortable. As somebody who likes to work out, I can tell you, you will not get stronger if you're not uncomfortable. As somebody who's growing a business, you can talk to guys like Michael and Dustin about this. The only way you grow is whenever you have phases of being uncomfortable. It takes effort and struggle to grow and to develop strength day in and day out. So this is my contact information. Like I said, I'll give you guys flash drives with the presentation on it today. Feel free to reach out to me on social, phone number at any point. I'm always here to talk. And I really thank you guys for letting me come and speak to you guys today.